Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel for another climate update. Today we're going to look at the Arctic ice, both thickness and extent, and we're also going to go through a recap of a whole bunch of different climate events that have happened through the month of May. So starting with Arctic ice thickness, here we're looking at the DMI, Danish Meteorological Institute satellite for Arctic thickness, and you can see here the thickest ice is in red, followed by the yellow and green, and then the less thick ice is the lighter blue going to the purple, and the white here is ice free. So we're already seeing the peripheral edges, Greenland, Siberia, and Canada, heating up from the sunlight. The rocks are heating up. It's pushing the ice out to sea in a lot of places. And this summer it's going to be 24/7 sun blasting on the Arctic ice. So I'm not too optimistic for how it's going to fare, but we're going to keep updating it. You can see the trajectory here on the right for thickness. It's starting to look closer towards the average, but it's still slightly below a lot of the last few years, and it's below the 2004 to 2013 average lines as well, which includes 2012, the current record low for extent year. Also, guys, be sure to make sure to like the video, subscribe to the page, share it in any social medias if you feel inclined. I'm gonna do the same today. I'm gonna try to get this video to 1,000 views. It's my goal. A lot of these get a couple hundred, but I think we can push this to 1,000 with some communal support. And the stuff's important, and I wrote a lot of notes down from various things that have happened, from biblical floods to 120 Fahrenheit, 50 Celsius heat waves. So there's a lot to dive into. Going to Arctic ice extent now. This is JAXA, the Japanese satellite. I have it zoomed in on the present day. Yesterday was the 28th. Right now we're at 11.42 million kilometers squared. That's the 12th lowest extent on record. But as you can see, a lot of those lines are clustered together. So if we start getting, there's 100K drops like we usually do in summer, any week now we could drop to 6th, 7th lowest on record, even lower than that. So now looking at Earth Null School, and again, I always link these sources in the description. You can see, while there's a lot of warmth building in the Pacific off of the west coast of Mexico, you can also see right under that there's a stark difference in temperature. There's a lot of, and that's basically La Nina starting to form. We're transitioning into a neutral stage, but La Nina will follow shortly after that. But that water up here, this 30 Celsius, 88 degrees Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius degree water, that's hurricane fuel, really bad. I know, I believe it was called Hurricane Hillary, hit the west coast of Mexico and California recently. So the Pacific is supercharged for hurricanes. Everyone's been talking about the Atlantic being supercharged for hurricanes, and the evidence is right here. The whole corridor is basically 29C is ready to go for hurricanes already, and we're a few days away from June 1st. I saw a certain meteorologist, I forget exactly what it was, there's a certain oscillation that comes around from the Indonesian area that has a lot to do with storms forming. So we're looking at some potential tropical storms in the next week or two coming up. And you can see this heat not only goes up all the way up here, 24 Celsius, 75 Fahrenheit, all the way past the British Isles and up to Norway. It's 55 degrees Fahrenheit in the water. And you can also see a lot of 30-degree water around the ice, so we're already seeing a lot of melt. Not looking particularly too great. So as I said, I'm a big follower of climate and economy. I wanted to go through a May climate update for everybody. Just go through some various headlines. I had to take some excerpts out of literally hundreds of articles to get some of the most pertinent information. So from the May 2nd headline, that's when the Rio Grande do Sul disaster in Brazil really started kicking off. Laos had their hottest day, 43.6 degrees Celsius, 110.5 degrees Fahrenheit. There were 36 deaths in a southern China highway collapse due to heavy rains and landslides. or heavy flooding in Saudi Arabia, heavy flooding in Kenya that led to over 200 deaths. Ghana recorded its hottest day on record, 44.6 Celsius, 112 degrees Fahrenheit. And those are just some clips, some excerpts from one headline. I'm going from one newsletter, going over 12 different newsletters, kind of in a rapid fire succession. Like, you don't even need to skip this to 1.25, 1.5, you know what I'm saying? May 4th, April marked an 11th consecutive month of record global heat, and we can unpack that going further. Raging wildfires in Nepal. China recorded its highest average temperature record and precipitation record in the month of April. For the month of April, I should say. Laos broke the record it just broke recently again, 43.7 degrees Celsius. And Tuvalu had their hottest May day on record, 93.9 degrees Fahrenheit. I always shout Tuvalu out because that's how I started researching all this stuff, was learning about sea level rise in Pacific Island nations like Tuvalu, Fiji, the Solomon Islands, and Kiribati. So from the May 7th headlines, Brazil hit its hottest May day, 40.6 degrees Celsius, 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Venezuela is officially deemed glacier-free. And we can look at the anomalies here too. Oh man, I don't have internet. That's why I do all this stuff ahead of time. Mexico had 45 degrees Celsius, 113 degrees Fahrenheit. 14 deaths were recorded in Haiti's landslides. There were 315 tornadoes in April. That's the second highest amount on record for the United States. Senegal hit 48 degrees Celsius. That's 118 degrees Fahrenheit. And Senegal actually hit 47 degrees Celsius in a lot of different headlines in May. There were so many I didn't even bother to write them, at least 3 or 4 different times. 14 deaths in floods in Afghanistan. And again, that was just three newsletters. The fourth is May 9th. So those Rio Grande do Sul floods we were talking about in Brazil, there was at least 100 deaths at this point by the May 9th headlines. It was the hottest day recorded for Managua in Nicaragua. It's 38.8 degrees Celsius, 101 degrees Fahrenheit. First week of May, 100 countries have broken temperature records so far in just the first week of May. May 2023 to April 2024 was the warmest 12-month May to April. So if you take the 12 months from April to May, line them up, and average out the temperatures, we just had the warmest for both the United States, the 48 states, and the lower 48, I should say, and Canada. India recorded 39 degrees Celsius in Bangalore, and also 9 people were killed in Hyderabad rains in India. Oceans have been breaking records every day for 365 days. And I'm not sure if Leon Simons or Professor Elliot Jacobson quoted that one, but it's kind of almost common knowledge at this point with how much it's happening. May 11th, Galinas, Mexico hit 51.1 degrees Celsius, 124 degrees Fahrenheit. I remember tweeting this, and I got attacked by a bunch of trolls that it wasn't real. Well, it's in the newsletters. It's the hottest May day recorded for North America ever. And of course, there's a lot of wildfires in Mexico with this record heat. Mexico City, which is high up in the mountains, hit 93.7 degrees Fahrenheit. Namibia in southern Africa in their fall season hit 104 degrees Fahrenheit. That's around 40 Celsius. 72 deaths were recorded in Afghanistan floods in a singular day. It's pretty terrible stuff. Thailand had 61 deaths already in 2024 from their heat waves. Falcon Dam, Texas recorded a temperature of 116 degrees Fahrenheit, which tied its May heat record. And Canadian wildfires are already starting to flare up. May 14th, I only recorded a couple headlines. Jakarta, Indonesia recorded its hottest May day on record, 36.6 Celsius, 97.9 degrees Fahrenheit. And floods in that same country, Indonesia, killed 50 people. There was wildfires popping up in Scotland, which you don't ever really hear of. Mexico hit a temperature of 47 Celsius, which is 116.6 Fahrenheit. And then May 16th, the death toll increased to 62 people in the Indonesian floods. Algeria hits a temperature of 45.3 degrees Celsius. It's 113.5. A lot of high minimum temperatures all over different parts of North America, Europe, too many places just to rattle off. Gabon in West Africa hit a record temperature of 29.9 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees for May. Uzbekistan is experiencing water shortages, along with a number of other countries. 7 people were killed in floods in Iran. Belize hit its hottest May day on record, 41.1 degrees Celsius, 106 Fahrenheit. Mexico had another 47 degree Celsius day. Cuba hit 40 degrees Celsius for its second time ever in its history. Going to the May 18th headline, Belize broke its hottest May Day record right after setting it, 42.3 Celsius, 108.1 Fahrenheit. 7 deaths were reported after a derecho straight-line winds hit the city of Houston, causing up to between $5 and $7 billion just from a straight-line windstorm. That's like hurricane-level damage. Heat waves are affecting Arctic phytoplankton, and channels like Science Talk with Jim Massick goes over that in a little more detail. Really bad news up in the Arctic. Norway recorded a temperature of 28.3 degrees Celsius, 82 degrees in Norway. Flooding throughout Germany, France, and Italy. Afghanistan reports more flooding deaths, originally 50 and then later 66. Punjab in India hit its hottest May day of 44.5 degrees Celsius, which is 112 Fahrenheit. More wildfires cropping up in Nepal. And then you got a lucky cold snap in Chile and Argentina. So it's not all warming, right? There's a couple things of cold going on. Then we have May 21st. Microplastics are hindering the ocean's ability to absorb carbon. That can't be good. Migratory fish populations have crashed 80% since 1970. 47 Celsius in Libya, that's 116. 47.4 in Delhi, and schools are closing, that's 117.3. And we'll get more into Delhi because that situation's getting bad. 44.6 in Xinjiang, China, which is 112. The Amazon is burning, and the article related that to shortages in funding for firefighting, which makes absolutely no sense. Howler monkeys are dropping dead in the Mexico heat waves. We've talked about Mexico hitting 45, 47 Celsius recently. Yakutia in Siberia, often known as the coldest place on Earth, having severe flooding. May 23rd. Got the computer back. Yeah, I told you I've been having computer problems that I have to have fixed, but I'm just working through it. This has collapsed. May 23rd, Furu, Japan hit 31.1 degrees Celsius, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. The total death toll from the Rio Grande do Sul floods by May 23rd, after a month, were 157 people killed so far, and a lot more missing. Record hot nights throughout Canada, United States, Mexico, and Brazil. That's what we talked about, temperature minimums. We're seeing tornadoes in the Midwest, and Iowa was hit by a EF4, cut a town right in half. Mongolia had its hottest spring day in history, 35.4 Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and Mongolia is very mountainous, high up. So that's a very rare temperature. 25th of May, Mexico City hit 34.4. It's broken its all-time temperature record 2 or 3 times this month. 94 degrees, all the way up in the mountains. And dozens were killed in the heat waves that have been going on this month in Mexico. More tornadoes hit Texas. Floods in the United Kingdom, France, and Turkey. And I have this important thing to announce. A couple of these. Pakistan hit 51 Celsius, which is 123.8 degrees Fahrenheit in May. So, for all those adjacent doomers looking to become full doomers, here's your data. 49 Celsius in India, heat deaths resulting. 6 dead in Sri Lanka, flooding, and Cyclone Ramal is on the way in western India. And May is set to be the 12th consecutive record of global heating averages. They're already calling May because it's so hot. Last but not least, May 28th, which just passed. 31.1 Celsius in Frosta, Norway. That's 88 degrees in Norway. Senegal, like I said, hit 47 to 48 Celsius, most of these headlines. Pakistan's jumped to 52 degrees Celsius, 125. See if I can you can see that right there. 125 in May. That's where we're at right now, folks. 16 dead in Cyclone Ramal. 2,000 people, actually more than that, were killed in a landslide in Papua New Guinea. It's likely going to be higher than 2,000 people due to heavy rains. Belize is on fire. Nicaragua hit a temperature minimum of 84 degrees overnight. And 21 people were killed in tornadoes on Memorial Day weekend in the United States through multiple states. So that's about a month of climate headlines, one of my longest videos. And like I said, doing the best with the little resources I have. Really appreciate the couple people that donated. Even that $5 donation means a lot, seriously. If you can't donate, it's totally cool. Just please subscribe to the channel. Please give this video a like. I'm going to share this to a few groups. Share this to a group that I'm not in. If you see it in 5 places on Facebook, like it 5 times. You know, fuck it. Stuff's about to start coming down, and that's going to be more relevant in the next couple months of videos. So I'm going to try to do, I always say I'm going to try to do more than one a month, but getting one a month out right now with everything that's going on has been quite the miracle. So I'm going to see you next time. Have a great day.